Well, it probably won't be a great deal of time between when you saw my last video and this one, but it has been a great deal of time since I recorded my last video and this one. You'll notice a background change. I don't know if this is the permanent background or not, but this is at our new place. Apologies, I feel like the camera is perhaps vibrating. I don't have the best current tripod setup that avoids vibration. Not like I did before, but it seems especially bad now. I will try to update that in the future, but I promise nothing, as this remains a mostly no effort channel. What am I looking at today? Well, in the lead up to moving, I sold a lot of stuff. I donated a lot of stuff. I gave away a lot of stuff. And I sold a lot of stuff. And yet I still had a lot of stuff. Go figure. Anyhow, I went to a used bookstore multiple times, many trips, and found a few items of interest, and I thought I would share some of the last batch with you. Now, I got this Fate Core System book. I got this by itself on a trip, and I don't think I've recorded a video about it before, so I'm just going to toss it on with this video. I have mixed feelings about Fate, but also I have yet to actually play Fate, and that, I suspect, might help me with some of the things that I have, some of the problems that I have with what I've seen reading Fate. And those problems come in, as I've mentioned, I think in the past, that this feels very much like a sort of a Trojan horse game. It sort of presents itself as a rules light game, but when it again gets in the door, you just have rules on rules on rules. Now, I don't know if that plays out correct, if that's the way it actually works at the table or not. I do like a lot of this black and white art. But that's how various Fate games that I have read have felt. Certainly Mindjammer comes to mind. Mindjammer was one I was so excited about. I'd heard so much positive buzz about. And I got it and I read it, and it was a massive tome that had very little setting information in it. It was just rules on rules on rules. And I don't love that. I don't want to have to think about a 500-page rule book and find a specific rule for every possible iteration of what a character might do. But I could be wrong, and I'm willing to be proven wrong. So I picked up the Fate Core System because it was inexpensive, and I had like $7 or $8 of credit on one of my visits. I already have Fate Accelerated, which seems probably more in keeping with what I would be interested in, but I have not read that yet. I just know there were a lot of Fate games coming out about 10, 15 years ago, some of which I'm very interested in. It's like Powered by the Apocalypse, though. A lot of games came out for it. A lot of them sounded really interesting, but I am iffy on the system, and because I have yet to be able to get it to the table or play in a game, which is what I'd really like to do, I still feel a little in the dark on that. Anyhow, what's up next? Well, I found this book, The Mysteries, by Bill Watterson and John Kasich, perhaps, or Cashed. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. But this is that Bill Watterson. This is Calvin and Hobbes. And I had heard vaguely that he had kind of come out of retirement for something, and I didn't know what. And it looks like this is a copyright 2023 book by the authors. And I don't know if it's the author and illustrator / photographer. I'm not sure how that all works. But I love Calvin and Hobbes, and I thought, why not? I'll check out this little book also by that author. So I don't know. I haven't read it. I'll check it out at some point. Now, next up, I had a fair amount of credit, and there really was not much when I went on this particular visit that I was interested in, and I didn't have a lot of time to go looking around. So when I saw this in their kind of higher end, I guess, potential theft bay where they have it locked under a glass, I thought, what the hey? Uh, I have, I love what I've seen over in Quest and Glorantha. I've been trying to get into, boy, the glare on these lights is crazy. So that's another thing that I'm going to try to work on is maybe a different lighting setup because the glare is really intense. And there's not really anything I can do about that right now, so we'll see. Anyhow, Solo Quest. This I can actually open up. So, I've talked about in previous videos that I am looking to do a little more solo RPG stuff. So I figure, why not? Looks like somebody put in, I don't know if this came with it or if this was something somebody left in there. This looks like photocopies from another book, some character sheets. And here we have the Solo Quest book. And I believe there are a few scenarios in here. Yeah, Dream Quest, Phony Stones, and MacGuffin Hunt are in here. And, we'll see. It looks like we have maybe some pre-gen characters here in the front. That's nice. I assume that's what all this stuff is. It seems like a lot of pre-gen characters, if I'm not mistaken, unless maybe that is actually a scenario and I'm full of crap. I think it is. I think it's a scenario and I was full of crap. So those were not pre-gen characters at all. I'll just shut my mouth. Anyhow, this looks like the second solo scenario. Not a lot of art, which is fine. MacGuffin Hunt, the final scenario. Yep, again, not a lot of art. So we'll see. I'm curious. I'll give these a look. I think there were a couple of volumes of this series, 3 or 4 volumes of this series, maybe. But I also could be full of crap on that. Let's see. Next, we have Princess Ugg. Ted Nafis, maybe? Nafis? I'm not sure. Anyway, I've been, as I think I've mentioned in previous videos, I've said before, fantasy has never really been my genre, although I have certainly read plenty of fantasy in my day. But the last couple of years, I think because of how much fun I have had with Dungeon Crawl Classics, I've really kind of been embracing fantasy a little more than I usually do. And I think additionally because I may be able to run some games for some younger kids, and fantasy is typically easier to run for younger folks. Maybe. Or maybe I'm full of crap, I don't know. But whatever the case, I've been kind of in the mood for some maybe modern takes on retro fantasy and some retro fantasy. I've been reading the John Carter of Mars series. I'm forcing myself to finish that series. It's a very mixed bag, and overall not great, but they were hugely inspirational to me as a kid, but I never actually finished the series. So then finally, I also have this Monstrous, which I have heard about a bunch, but never really looked at seriously. But I happen to flip in and, it's got some cool artwork. It looks very bizarre. Again, reading a bunch of fantasy lately, and certainly reading a bunch of Michael Moorcock makes me think something like this with it looks like there's reality bending and maybe universe hopping or something. I don't know. Maybe there's not. But, I like that kind of thing. Anyway, so I thought I would check this out. Also, while the prices at McKay's are really kind of all over the place, with some books, it's a beat up used copy and they're selling it for list price. That seems crazy, but when it comes to graphic novels, they have really, really good prices. I mean, these were $2 a piece, And I found some other stuff shockingly inexpensive while I was there. Anyhow, that's it for this used bookstore haul. I don't know if it's my last. I actually do have a small stack of books that I'm planning to go to a new, to me, bookstore and see. They, I believe, only offer credit, so we'll see what they carry. I don't know if I've ever even been inside, much less actually bought anything, so I don't know if they are better organized than McKay's. Uh, McKay's has done me a solid several times, and it was a great place to unload a lot of stuff, but they have, I'm not going to even bother to get that back in the plastic, they have certainly some issues as far as organization and such goes. So, anyhow, um, we'll see if I hit up some of these new, to me, used bookstores in my new location. We'll also see if this remains my background for the time being. Again, hopefully, I'll be able to work on lighting. We are not, at the time of recording, fully settled into our new digs, but we're getting there. And I certainly am excited about the possibility of what this area will bring to me. But, a move is a dramatic thing. So until next time, oh, and hey, I'm still trying to sell some stuff on eBay. And Lord knows I could use both the space and the money. So take a look. The links will be below. You can check out my eBay page if you want to help me out in any way and maybe find some interesting old finds. Take care.